Welcome to a journey into the hidden world of ants. As you settle into comfort and let your body relax, we'll explore these extraordinary creatures together, creatures that have built empires beneath our feet for millions of years. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. Ants belong to a specific place in the tree of life. Ants are insects in the family Formicidae and order Hymenoptera. This scientific classification connects them to a vast lineage of insects that include some of the most successful and fascinating creatures on Earth. The name Hymenoptera comes from Greek words meaning membrane wing, though most ants you see have lost their wings. They're part of an ancient order that has shaped ecosystems for over 100 million years. Their family connections might surprise you. They are close relatives of bees and wasps and evolved from wasp-like ancestors during the Cretaceous period. Picture the world during the age of dinosaurs, flowering plants just beginning to spread across the land, and somewhere in that ancient landscape, certain solitary wasps were beginning to change. They were becoming more social, developing cooperative behaviors, adapting to life in colonies. Over millions of years, these wasp ancestors transformed into the ants we know today. The family resemblance is still visible if you know where to look, in the structure of their bodies, in their stinging abilities, in the way they care for their young. We know about ancient ants through remarkable preservation. Fossil ants preserved in amber show that their social systems were already advanced tens of millions of years ago. Amber is fossilized tree resin, and sometimes insects became trapped in this sticky substance before it hardened. Inside these golden tombs, ants are preserved in exquisite detail, their bodies perfect, their postures natural, frozen in the middle of their daily work. Some of these amber fossils are 90 million years old, and the ants within them already show the complex social structures we see today. They were already organized into castes, already living in colonies, already performing specialized tasks. Their civilization was ancient when the first humans appeared. The timeline of ant evolution stretches back incredibly far. Ants have been present since at least the mid-Cretaceous, co-evolving with flowering plants and many other organisms. They emerged during a time of tremendous change on Earth, when flowering plants were diversifying and spreading, when new ecological opportunities were opening up. Ants filled these opportunities, adapting to countless different environments and lifestyles. They co-evolved with plants, some becoming pollinators, others becoming seed dispersers. They co-evolved with other insects, developing complex relationships of predation, parasitism, and mutualism. For over 100 million years, ants have been shaping and being shaped by the living world around them. The diversity of ants is staggering. More than 13,800 species have been formally described, out of an estimated 22,000. Think about that for a moment. Nearly 14,000 different kinds of ants have been discovered, studied, named, and classified by scientists. And yet that's only about 60% of the species that likely exist. In rainforests, deserts, and remote regions around the world, there are thousands of ant species still unknown to science, still waiting to be discovered. Each species is a unique solution to the challenge of ant existence, shaped by its particular environment and evolutionary history. Ants have conquered almost the entire land surface of Earth. They occur on almost every landmass except Antarctica and a few remote islands. From tropical rainforests to temperate woodlands, from deserts to grasslands, from mountains to coastal zones, ants have established themselves. They've adapted to extreme heat and moderate cold, to wet environments and dry ones, to soils of every type. Only the frozen continent of Antarctica and a handful of isolated islands lack them. Everywhere else, if you look closely enough, you'll find ants going about their work. Their abundance peaks in warm regions. Ants are most numerous in tropical and subtropical regions, where both species richness and abundance peak. In a tropical rainforest, you might find hundreds of ant species in a single hectare. The canopy hosts different species than the forest floor. Dead logs contain different species than living trees. The leaf litter is a three-dimensional landscape of ant territories and foraging routes. In these warm, productive environments, ants reach their greatest diversity and their greatest numbers, creating an almost unimaginable density of tiny lives. The sheer biomass of ants is difficult to comprehend. In some ecosystems, the total biomass of ants rivals or exceeds that of wild birds and mammals combined. Imagine weighing all the ants in a given area and then weighing all the birds and all the wild mammals. In many places, the ants would be heavier. This is partly because ants are so numerous, and partly because they're so efficient at converting resources into ant biomass. They're everywhere, doing everything, eating, building, reproducing, turning the environment into more ants. They're a living carpet covering the ground, a hidden mass of tiny bodies adding up to something enormous. The numbers become almost abstract. There are roughly 1 million ants for every human on Earth. With about 8 billion humans alive today, that means there are approximately 8 quadrillion ants sharing the planet with us. 8 followed by 15 zeros. It's a number so large it loses meaning, but try to picture it anyway. Imagine every person on Earth accompanied by their own colony of 1 million ants. That's the world we live in, though we rarely notice these tiny companions. Because of their remarkable nature, ants have become scientific celebrities. Because of their ecological importance in complex societies, ants are widely studied as model organisms for social evolution and collective behavior. Scientists study ants to understand how complex behaviors can emerge from simple rules, how societies organize themselves without central control, how cooperation evolves, how communication works at the chemical level, how division of labor develops. Ants are tractable subjects, small enough to observe in laboratories, complex enough to be interesting, numerous enough for statistical analysis. What we learn from ants often applies to other social systems, including our own. They're teachers, these tiny insects, showing us how societies work from the ground up. The ant's body is a masterpiece of miniature engineering, every part precisely adapted for the life these insects lead. Let's explore this architecture of survival, piece by piece. The basic structure is instantly recognizable once you know what to look for. Ants have 3 main body segments: head, thorax, and abdomen, connected by a narrow waist. This 3-part body plan is common to many insects, but ants have modified it in distinctive ways. The head contains the brain, eyes, and mouth parts. The thorax holds the powerful muscles that drive the legs. The abdomen contains most of the digestive system and, in some species, the stinger. But it's that narrow waist, that cinched connection between thorax and abdomen, that makes an ant instantly identifiable. That waist is more complex than it first appears. This waist includes 1 or 2 node-like segments called the petiole and sometimes the postpetiole. These nodes are actually modified abdominal segments. They give the ant remarkable flexibility, allowing the abdomen to curl forward over the thorax, positioning the stinger if the ant has one, and enabling the ant to maneuver in tight spaces. Different ant species have different numbers and shapes of these nodes, and myrmecologists, scientists who study ants, use these variations to help identify species. What looks like a simple waist is actually a sophisticated joint system. The ants' armor is both protection and limitation. Their bodies are protected by a hard exoskeleton made of chitin. Chitin is a tough, flexible polysaccharide, the same material that forms the shells of crabs and the wings of beetles. This external skeleton protects the ant's soft internal organs, provides attachment points for muscles, and prevents water loss. But it also means that ants, like all insects, must periodically molt to grow. They cannot expand their hard shell, so they must shed it and grow a new, larger one. Between molts, they're stuck at their current size, wrapped in their chitinous armor. Movement comes from 6 perfectly coordinated limbs. 6 legs extend from the thorax, giving them strength and agility. 3 legs on each side, arranged in 2 rows, allowing for a stable tripod gait where 3 legs are always in contact with the ground while the other 3 are moving. This gives ants remarkable stability on uneven terrain. Each leg ends in a claw or pad that can grip surfaces. Some ants can walk upside down on smooth surfaces. Others can walk up vertical glass. Their legs are strong relative to their body size, capable of carrying loads many times the ant's weight. The most important sensory organs sit atop the head. The head bears 2 elbowed antennae used for smell, touch, and communication. These antennae are the ant's primary interface with the world. They're constantly in motion, tapping surfaces, waving in the air, touching other ants. The elbow joint about halfway along each antenna allows for incredible flexibility and sensitivity. An ant without antennae is essentially blind to most of its environment, unable to follow trails, unable to recognize nestmates, unable to function in colony life. Those antennae detect far more than we might imagine. These antennae detect chemical trails, air currents, vibrations, and even the presence of nestmates. Each antenna is covered with thousands of sensory hairs and pores, each responding to specific stimuli. Chemical sensors detect pheromones, allowing ants to follow trails and identify colony members. Mechanoreceptors detect vibrations and air movements. Temperature sensors help ants gauge their environment. Touch receptors provide detailed tactile information. Together, these sensors create a rich sensory world, completely different from our vision-dominated experience, but no less detailed or real. The ant's mouth is a toolkit of manipulation. Ants have 2 sets of jaws, outer mandibles for grabbing and cutting, and inner jaws for chewing. The mandibles are the most obvious, large and often toothed structures that open sideways rather than up and down like ours. An ant uses its mandibles to carry objects, to cut leaf material, to groom nestmates, to fight enemies, to excavate soil. They're multi-purpose tools, like hands that can also bite. Behind them, hidden inside the mouth, are smaller mouthparts that do the actual chewing and manipulating of food. Eyes, when present, are designed for specific purposes. Many species possess compound eyes made of numerous tiny lenses that are excellent at detecting movement. Each lens, called an ommatidium, captures a small part of the visual field. Together, they create a mosaic image. Compound eyes don't see fine detail the way our eyes do, but they're superb at detecting motion. A moving predator, a flying insect, a waving antenna, these catch the ant's attention immediately. Some ants that live underground have greatly reduced eyes or none at all, having no need for vision in the darkness of their tunnels. Some ants have internal storage for particles. Some ants have an infrabuccal chamber used to store food particles or debris. This is a pocket inside the mouth where ants can temporarily hold small particles. Workers use it to filter out indigestible materials when processing food, or to collect particles during grooming that they'll later discard outside the nest. It's like an internal sorting pouch, helping keep the ant and its nestmates clean. And for some species, defense comes in the form of a weapon. Certain species, like the bullet ant, carry a powerful sting at the tip of the abdomen. The stinger is a modified egg-laying organ, which means only females have them. It can inject venom deep into a victim, causing pain or paralysis or death depending on the species and the size of the victim. The bullet ant's sting is legendary among humans who've experienced it, described as feeling like being shot, causing waves of burning pain that can last for hours. For the ant, it's a last resort defense, a way to protect itself and its colony from threats too large to simply bite. An ant is never truly alone. Even a solitary forager is part of something larger, a society with structure and roles, a collective life that shapes every individual's existence. Ants represent one of evolution's great achievements in social organization. Ants are eusocial, living in cooperative colonies with division of labor and overlapping generations. Eusociality is the highest level of social organization, characterized by cooperative brood care, overlapping generations living together, and division of reproductive labor. Only a few groups of insects have achieved this: ants, some bees, some wasps, and termites. It requires profound evolutionary changes in behavior, allowing individuals to sacrifice their own reproduction to help raise their siblings. But the benefits are enormous. Eusocial colonies can accomplish things no solitary insect could, building complex structures, overwhelming large prey, surviving harsh conditions. The basic structure of ant society has remained consistent across most species. Colonies are typically divided into queens, workers, and males. This three-part system, with slight variations, is found in the vast majority of ant species. Each caste has its role, its specialized anatomy, its place in the colony's life cycle. Together, they form a reproductive unit, a superorganism where individuals function like cells in a body, specialized for different tasks but all working toward the colony's survival and reproduction. The queen is the mother of the colony. The queen's primary role is to lay eggs for the colony. She's the source of all new ants, the genetic bottleneck through which all colony members pass. In most species, she's larger than the workers, with a more robust thorax to power her wings during her mating flight, and a larger abdomen to house her ovaries. After mating, she may lay thousands or even millions of eggs over her lifetime, a tireless production of offspring. She's not the ruler in any meaningful sense. She doesn't give orders or make decisions. She's simply the reproductive specialist, and the colony organizes itself around her presence. Workers are the hands and feet of the colony. Workers are wingless females that forage, build nests, and care for brood. They're sterile or nearly so in most species, their ovaries underdeveloped, their bodies optimized for labor rather than reproduction. They do everything that needs doing: excavating tunnels, gathering food, feeding larvae, defending the nest, maintaining the queen, removing the dead, repairing damage. Their entire lives, which may last from a few weeks to several years depending on species, are spent in service to the colony. It's through workers that the colony interacts with the world. Males exist for a single purpose. Males usually have wings and live briefly, existing mainly to mate. They're produced seasonally, emerging when virgin queens are ready to fly. Males are drones, genetic dead-ends if they fail to mate, brief sparks of life meant to carry genes to other colonies. They don't work. They don't forage. They don't help maintain the nest. They simply wait for their chance to fly, to mate, and then they die. In many species, males do not help maintain the nest and function solely as reproductive members. Their entire existence is directed toward that one moment of reproduction, after which they have no further purpose. Colony structures vary in their complexity of leadership. Some colonies have a single queen, called monogeny, while others have multiple queens, called polygyny. In monogynous colonies, everything depends on that single queen. If she dies and cannot be replaced, the colony slowly dies out as the existing workers age and are not replaced. In polygynous colonies, multiple queens share egg-laying duties, and the colony can survive the loss of any single queen. Each system has advantages. Monogeny creates clearer genetic relationships and potentially less conflict. Polygyny provides redundancy and often allows colonies to grow larger. Some species have evolved extreme variation among workers. Certain species show extreme worker polymorphism, with miners, media workers, and large soldiers. In these species, workers come in distinctly different sizes and proportions, each optimized for different tasks. Miner workers might be tiny foragers, efficient at squeezing into tight spaces. Media workers of intermediate size might handle most tasks. Major workers, sometimes called soldiers, might have enormous heads and powerful mandibles, specialized for defense or for cracking open seeds. This polymorphism allows for even greater division of labor, with different worker types specialized for different jobs. Colony size varies by orders of magnitude across species. Colonies can range from a few dozen individuals to many millions. Some species live in tiny colonies hidden in acorns or hollow twigs, just a single queen and a handful of workers raising a few larvae in cramped quarters. Other species form gigantic colonies with millions of workers spread through extensive nest systems. The size of a colony affects its capabilities. Larger colonies can undertake bigger construction projects, defend larger territories, and exploit resources more efficiently. But smaller colonies can be more cryptic, more mobile, and less vulnerable to catastrophic events. Some colonies transcend even these enormous scales. Massive supercolonies may span vast geographic areas, with workers recognizing distant nestmates and avoiding conflict. In a few species, particularly some invasive ants, colonies have grown to extraordinary sizes. Argentine ant supercolonies along the Mediterranean coast of Europe stretch for thousands of miles, with billions or trillions of workers all recognizing each other as nestmates. These aren't truly single colonies in the traditional sense, they're networks of interconnected nests, all sharing a common odor signature, all cooperating rather than competing. It's perhaps the closest thing in nature to a true superorganism, a collective being spread across continents. The life of an ant begins invisibly small and unfolds according to ancient patterns, each stage precisely timed, each transformation bringing the individual closer to its role in the colony. Like bees, ants undergo a complete transformation during development. Ants develop through complete metamorphosis: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. This means the ant passes through entirely different forms as it matures. The egg is tiny, often less than a millimeter long. From it hatches a larva, a legless grub that looks nothing like an adult ant. The larva eats and grows, molting several times as it gets larger. Eventually it transforms into a pupa, a transitional stage where the larval body is broken down and rebuilt into adult form. Finally, the adult ant emerges, its form now fixed for life. For stages, for forms, one individual. The pace of development is measured in weeks. A worker's life cycle from egg to adult often takes about 8 to 10 weeks. 2 to 3 months from the moment the queen lays an egg until a new worker joins the workforce. During that time, the developing ant is completely dependent on the care of existing workers. They must be kept warm, protected from harm, fed regularly, and moved within the nest areas with optimal temperature and humidity. It's a vulnerable time, but with proper care, the survival rate is high. Colonies don't produce reproductives constantly. Colonies periodically produce winged reproductive ants in response to season or colony size. Most of the time, colonies raise only workers, the sterile females that maintain the colony. But under certain conditions, usually in spring or summer, when the colony is well fed and mature, the queen lays eggs that will develop into winged reproductives. Some become virgin queens, others become males. These winged ants are the colony's investment in the future, its attempt to spread its genes to new colonies. The dispersal of reproductives is a spectacular event. Young queens leave the nest during large mating flights known as nuptial flights. On certain days, when weather conditions are right, colonies of the same species synchronize their nuptial flights. Suddenly, thousands or millions of winged ants emerge from nests across the landscape, taking to the air in a massive aerial gathering. The sky fills with flying ants. Birds feast on them. Males pursue females. It's chaos and opportunity combined, the great mixing of genes, the moment when colonies exchange genetic material across the landscape. After mating comes transformation. After mating, queens usually shed their wings. A mated queen has no more need for flight. Her wings were solely for dispersal and mating, and now they're just extra weight and vulnerability. She breaks them off herself, often against a rock or twig, or simply lets them fall away. The stumps of her former wings remain visible, small scars on her thorax. Now she's a different creature, no longer an aerial explorer but a colonizer, ready to start her own dynasty. The founding of a colony is an act of solitary courage and hope. A newly mated queen often starts a colony alone and hidden. She finds a suitable spot, under a rock, in a crack in wood, in a hollow plant stem, and seals herself inside. In this tiny chamber, she lays her first eggs. She has no workers to help her. She must care for these eggs and the larvae that hatch from them entirely by herself. She doesn't eat. She survives by metabolizing her flight muscles, no longer needed, and fat reserves built up before her mating flight. It's a desperate gamble. Many queens fail. But those who succeed become the mothers of colonies. Queens carry the means for a lifetime of reproduction. Queens can store sperm in a spermatheca and use it for years. During her mating flight, a queen mates with one or more males, and the sperm she receives is stored in a special organ inside her abdomen. This stored sperm remains viable for years, even decades. Each time she lays an egg, she can release a few sperm to fertilize it, or she can leave it unfertilized. This gives her complete control over the sex of her offspring. Sex determination in ants follows an unusual pattern. Workers develop from fertilized eggs, while males arise from unfertilized eggs, a system called haplodiploidy. This means females, including queens and workers, have 2 sets of chromosomes, one from their mother and one from their father. Males have only one set, from their mother. They have no father in the traditional sense. This genetic system has profound effects on the evolution of social behavior. Sisters share more genes with each other than they would with their own offspring if they could reproduce, which helps explain why workers tolerate sterility and help raise their siblings. Not all reproductives take to the air. Some species produce wingless reproductive females called ergatoid queens. These are queens that never develop wings and never leave the nest to mate. Instead, they mate with males from their own or nearby nests and either replace the old queen or disperse by walking. This strategy is common in species that live in harsh or fragmented environments where flying is dangerous or impractical. It's a different path to the same goal, reproduction and colony founding. Longevity varies dramatically between castes. Queens of certain species can live for over a decade, while males typically die soon after mating. A queen ant may be one of the longest-lived insects on Earth. The record for a captive queen is over 28 years. During that time, she may lay millions of eggs, founding a dynasty that outlives her. Workers live much shorter lives, usually months to a few years. And males are the most ephemeral of all, living just long enough to mate, often only a few days or weeks. Each caste has a different temporal scale, a different experience of time. Beneath the surface, invisible to casual observers, ants have built some of the most complex structures in the animal kingdom, cities in miniature, engineering marvels carved from soil and wood. The classic ant nest is a subterranean labyrinth. Many ants build complex underground nests with tunnels and chambers. Starting from a single entrance, tunnels branch and descend, sometimes several meters deep. Chambers open off these tunnels, each with a purpose. Some hold brood. Some store seeds or fungus. Some are refuse dumps. Some are simply resting areas for workers. The architecture is intricate, designed to maintain stable temperature and humidity, to protect against flooding, to allow efficient movement of workers and resources. It's a three-dimensional maze, a city below ground. What we see above ground is merely a hint of what lies below. Visible anthills are often just the surface of much larger subterranean structures. That mound of excavated soil is the spoil from the digging, the displaced earth brought up from below and piled at the entrance. In some species, the mound also acts as a solar collector, warming in the sun and radiating heat down into the upper chambers, helping the ants regulate brood temperature. But the mound is just the entrance hall to a much more extensive structure below. Not all ants nest in soil. Some species nest in rotting logs, rocks, or tree cavities. Dead wood is an attractive nest site for many ants. It's easy to excavate, provides insulation, and often contains existing cavities made by beetle larvae or wood decay. Ants in rotting logs are doing a service to the ecosystem, accelerating decomposition and nutrient cycling. Rock crevices provide protection and stable temperature. Tree cavities offer similar benefits. Each nest site has its advantages, and different ant species have specialized in different niches. Carpenter ants are specialists in wood. Carpenter ants excavate wood, sometimes even in human buildings. Unlike termites, carpenter ants don't eat wood. They just chew through it to create nest space, spitting out the sawdust in small piles outside their entrance holes. In forests, they're important decomposers, helping break down dead trees. In houses, they can cause significant structural damage over years. A colony inside the wall of a house may tunnel extensively, weakening beams and joists, all hidden from view until the damage is severe. Some ants have abandoned permanent structures entirely. Army ants form temporary nests called bivouacs made from their own interlocked bodies. These nomadic species don't excavate nests at all. Instead, hundreds of thousands of workers link their legs together, forming a living ball or curtain. Inside this mass of bodies, protected chambers form naturally where the queen and brood are sheltered. It's a nest you can carry with you, always ready to move to new hunting grounds. The bivouac serves multiple functions. During stationary phases, army ants form protective living walls around the queen and brood. The outer layers of workers act as a shield against predators and weather. Inside, the temperature and humidity are regulated by the massive ant bodies. It's a remarkable example of collective architecture where the building material is the builders themselves, a structure that's alive and responsive. Weaver ants create nests in the canopy. Weaver ants stitch living leaves together using silk produced by their larvae. Adult weaver ants can't produce silk, but their larvae can. Workers hold edges of leaves together while other workers carry larvae along the seam. The larvae produce silk from glands in their heads, and the workers use these larvae like living glue tubes, binding the leaves into enclosed chambers. The result is a nest suspended in the treetops, made of living plant material, a construction technique unique among ants. Some ants live in partnerships with plants. Certain ants live inside hollow thorns or stems provided by plants in mutualistic partnerships. Acacia trees, for example, produce large hollow thorns specifically to house ants. The trees also produce nectar and specialized food bodies to feed the ants. In exchange, the ants aggressively defend the tree against herbivores, biting anything that tries to eat the leaves. It's a quid pro quo arrangement millions of years in the making, where plant and ant have co-evolved to depend on each other. Entrance architecture can be surprisingly sophisticated. Some species reinforce nest entrances with stones, twigs, or debris. This might serve multiple purposes. The reinforcement makes the entrance more permanent and easier to defend. The materials might also help camouflage the nest. Some ants are quite selective about their building materials, choosing particular sizes and types of pebbles or sticks. It's the beginning of tool use, selecting and manipulating environmental objects to improve the nest. Inside, organization follows function. Colonies maintain separate chambers for brood, food storage, and sometimes waste. Brood chambers are kept at optimal temperature and humidity, usually in the deeper, more stable parts of the nest. Food storage chambers may be near the surface for easy access by foragers. Waste chambers are often at the periphery of the nest system, isolating garbage and refuse away from the colony's living spaces. This spatial organization improves hygiene, efficiency, and survival. Ants have diversified into nearly every ecological niche, finding countless ways to feed themselves and their colonies, from hunting to farming to herding. The baseline ant diet is varied and opportunistic. Ants are generally omnivorous, eating plant material, seeds, fungi, and animal prey. This dietary flexibility has allowed ants to succeed in almost every terrestrial environment. Some food is eaten directly by workers. Other food is brought back to the nest to feed larvae or other colony members. The ability to exploit multiple food sources means ants can thrive even when any single resource is scarce. Ants play a crucial role as cleanup crew. Many scavenge dead insects and animals, acting as important decomposers. A dead grasshopper on the ground might be covered with ants within hours, its body systematically disassembled and carried away piece by piece. Ants clean up carcasses that would otherwise rot, recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. In some environments, ants are the primary scavengers of small dead animals, more important in this role than beetles or flies. Their strength relative to size is legendary. Workers can carry objects many times their body weight using strong mandibles. An ant can commonly carry 10 to 50 times its own body weight, and some species can manage even more. Imagine a human carrying a car in their jaws. That's the equivalent of what an ant does routinely. This strength allows ants to bring large food items back to the nest, sometimes cooperating to drag objects far larger than any individual could manage alone. Some ants have specialized diets. Harvester ants specialize in collecting seeds. These ants gather seeds from grasses and other plants, storing them in underground granaries. They crack the seeds with their powerful mandibles and feed the contents to larvae or eat them themselves. In some regions, harvester ants are important predators of seeds, significantly affecting plant populations. The bare areas around their nests, cleared of vegetation, are called discs, and they're a distinctive feature of harvester ant colonies. Leafcutter ants practice agriculture. Leafcutter ants cut vegetation not to eat directly, but to cultivate fungus. Workers climb trees and shrubs, cut pieces of leaf, and carry them back to the nest held overhead like parasols. But the leaves aren't food. They're substrate for farming. Workers chew the leaf fragments into pulp and add it to their fungus gardens, underground chambers where they cultivate a specific species of fungus found nowhere else in nature. The fungus produces specialized food for the ants. The cultivated fungus produces nutrient-rich structures called gondolidia. These are swollen hyphal tips, essentially packages of nutrients that the ants harvest and feed to their larvae. The ants carefully tend their gardens, removing competing fungi and bacteria, regulating temperature and humidity, and constantly adding fresh leaf material. It's a form of agriculture that evolved tens of millions of years before humans invented farming. The dependency is complete. This fungus depends entirely on ants and is not found free living in the wild. The fungus has lost the ability to reproduce sexually and spread on its own. It exists only in ant nests, passed from colony to colony when new queens carry a small pellet of fungus with them on their mating flights. Ant and fungus are locked together, each unable to survive without the other, a partnership that has persisted for millions of years. Some ants are herders. Some ants herd aphids, protecting them in exchange for honeydew. Aphids are small insects that feed on plant sap. They consume far more sap than they need for nutrients, excreting the excess as a sugary liquid called honeydew. Ants stroke aphids with their antennae to stimulate honeydew production, then drink the honeydew. In exchange, ants protect aphids from predators, sometimes even carrying them to new feeding sites or sheltering them inside the ant nest. It's animal husbandry practiced by insects. Some ants are fierce predators. Certain meat-eating ants overwhelm prey much larger than themselves through coordinated attacks. A single ant might be no threat to a grasshopper or beetle, but dozens or hundreds working together can pin down, sting, and disassemble even large prey. Some species are specialists in particular prey. A few species specialize in hunting termites or even other ants. These ant hunters have evolved specialized techniques, sometimes using chemical mimicry to infiltrate termite nests or ambushing foragers from rival ant colonies. Communication in ant colonies happens primarily in a realm invisible and incomprehensible to us, a world of scent and chemical signals where information flows along trails and through the air. The foundation of ant communication is chemical. Ants rely heavily on pheromones for communication. Pheromones are chemicals produced by one individual that affect the behavior or physiology of others. Ants produce dozens of different pheromones from various glands distributed across their bodies. Alarm pheromones signal danger. Trail pheromones mark routes to food. Queen pheromones regulate reproduction in the colony. Recognition pheromones identify nestmates. Each pheromone is a word in a chemical language, and together they allow complex communication without sound or sight. Trail pheromones create highways of scent. Foraging ants lay chemical trails to food sources. When a scout discovers food, she feeds, then returns to the nest, pressing her abdomen to the ground at intervals, leaving a trail of pheromone. Other workers detect this trail with their antennae and follow it to the food. The trail is a message that says food this way, growing stronger as more workers follow and reinforce these trails. Successful trails attract more traffic, unsuccessful ones fade as the pheromone evaporates. The system is self-organizing. Other workers follow and reinforce these trails. As long as food remains at the trail's end, workers continue to lay pheromone, and the trail persists. When food runs out, workers stop reinforcing the trail, and it fades within minutes or hours. It's a dynamic system that automatically directs labor to productive resources without any centralized decision-making. The trail is a collective decision, continuously updated, always reflecting current conditions. Labor in the colony is divided by specialty. Colonies exhibit task specialization among workers. Some workers focus on brood care, others on foraging, others on nest maintenance. This specialization can be based on age, with younger workers typically staying inside the nest and older workers foraging. It can also be based on individual tendencies or experiences. Some workers seem to have personalities, consistently choosing certain tasks over others. The result is an efficient division of labor where different jobs are performed by individuals best suited or experienced for them. Food sharing is intimate and essential. Ants perform trophallaxis, sharing liquid food mouth to mouth. A forager with a crop full of nectar can regurgitate it to a nestmate, passing nutrition directly from one individual to another. This behavior serves multiple purposes. It distributes food throughout the colony, ensuring everyone is fed. It also shares information, as pheromones and chemical cues pass along with the food. Through trophallaxis, the colony maintains chemical unity, everyone tasting the same colony odor, the same queen pheromones. Sometimes direct guidance is more efficient than trails. Some species use tandem running, with one ant guiding another to resources. An experienced forager who's found food will return to the nest and recruit a single nestmate. The two run together in tandem, the follower staying close behind the leader, touching her abdomen with her antennae to stay on track. When they reach the food, the follower has learned the route and can return independently. It's teaching, one ant passing knowledge directly to another. Some ants conduct warfare on a massive scale. Army ants move in massive raiding columns. These nomadic hunters don't forage as individuals but as armies, hundreds of thousands of workers flowing across the forest floor in columns and swarms. They overwhelm everything in their path, attacking arthropods, small vertebrates, anything too slow to escape. The front of the swarm is a wall of mandibles, workers attacking anything that moves, while others carry prey back along the column to the bivouac. Driver ants of Africa are particularly fearsome. Driver ants form enormous swarms capable of overwhelming many animals. Their raids are legendary, said to kill tethered animals, to force humans to evacuate their homes. The truth is somewhat less dramatic, but driver ants are genuinely formidable predators. Their swarms can be 20 meters wide and hundreds of meters long, advancing through the forest, stripping prey items to bones in minutes. Small animals caught in their path have little chance of escape. Ants are not tied to fixed locations. Colonies relocate when environmental conditions change. If a nest becomes unsuitable due to flooding, disturbance, or depletion of local resources, the colony can move. Workers scout potential new nest sites, then the colony migrates, carrying larvae, pupae, the queen, and even stored food to the new location. It's a massive undertaking requiring coordination among thousands of individuals, but ants accomplish it regularly. Complex behaviors emerge without central planning. Complex construction, such as forming living bridges, emerges from simple local interactions, without any central controller. Army ants sometimes form bridges from their own bodies, along the column to cross gaps or obstacles. Each ant follows simple rules. If there's an opening that would slow the column, position yourself to fill it. No ant knows the overall bridge shape. No leader directs construction. Yet the collective result is a functional structure that speeds the entire column's movement, a bridge built from living bodies that disappears when no longer needed. Survival for ants often means violence, defense, and strategies so extreme they seem almost alien in their strangeness and dedication. The primary weapons are built into the face. Ants use mandibles as primary weapons. These powerful jaws can grip, crush, cut, and pierce. In combat, ants grab opponents with their mandibles, sometimes holding them while other workers attack, sometimes crushing them outright. Large soldier ants have mandibles capable of cutting through tough insect cuticle or even human skin. The mandibles are versatile tools, but in conflict they become weapons. Many ants have an additional chemical weapon. Stinging species inject venom to subdue prey or defend themselves. The sting is the modified egg-laying organ, a sharp hollow needle that can pierce through skin and inject a cocktail of toxic proteins. The venom varies by species. Some cause pain and inflammation. Others can paralyze or kill prey much larger than the ant. The sting is a last resort for many species, used when mandibles aren't enough, when the threat is severe. Some stings are legendary for their effects. Bullet ants are known for one of the most painful stings in the insect world. People who've been stung describe waves of intense, burning pain radiating up the limb, lasting for hours, making it impossible to think about anything else. The pain is so distinctive that bullet ants are used in initiation rituals by some indigenous peoples, with young men required to endure the stings as a test of endurance. For the ant, this extreme pain is a defense, making predators associate bullet ants with suffering and learn to avoid them. Others use chemical warfare without stinging. Some ants spray formic acid as a chemical defense. Formic acid is a simple organic acid, corrosive and painful. Ants in the genus Formica can spray it from their abdomens when threatened, sometimes squirting it several centimeters. The acid burns exposed tissue and creates a sharp, vinegar-like smell. Multiple ants spraying together can create a cloud of acid that repels attackers. It's effective against other insects and even makes birds think twice about eating these ants. Some defenses are more dramatic. Certain carpenter ants can rupture specialized glands to spray sticky or toxic secretions. In a behavior called autothesis or suicidal defense, workers in a few species can deliberately rupture their own bodies, spraying attackers with defensive chemicals. The worker dies, but the colony may be saved. It's sacrifice at the individual level for collective benefit, evolution selecting for the good of the colony even at the cost of individual lives. The bivouac serves defensive purposes too. Army ants may form protective living shields around their queen and brood. When the colony is under attack, workers position themselves as living armor, taking the blows and stings of attackers while the colony's most valuable members remain safe inside. Layers upon layers of workers form concentric shells of defense, each layer ready to be sacrificed if necessary. Sometimes the threat comes from other ants. Neighboring colonies sometimes engage in massive territorial battles. In areas where colony territories overlap, workers may fight pitched battles involving thousands of individuals. The ground becomes a battlefield covered with struggling ants, grappling, stinging, biting. These wars can last hours or days, and casualties can be in the thousands. The victorious colony expands its territory, the defeated one contracts or is wiped out entirely. Some ants practice slavery. Some species enslave workers of other ant colonies. Slave-making ants raid the nests of other species, stealing pupae. When these pupae emerge as adults in the slave-maker's nest, they imprint on the colony odor and work as if they were members of that colony. They forage, care for brood, and maintain the nest, never realizing they're supporting a species not their own. The slave makers themselves often lose the ability to do basic tasks, becoming dependent on their slaves for survival. Some feeding behaviors seem monstrous by our standards. Vampire ants feed on their larvae's hemolymph without killing them. Workers in certain species pierce the integument of their own colony's larvae and drink the fluid that wells out. The larvae survive but are weakened. It's called non-destructive cannibalism, a way for adult ants to access nutrients during times of scarcity, using their own offspring as renewable resources. By our moral standards it seems horrifying, but for ants it's simply a strategy, neither good nor evil, just a way to survive. Some ants have adapted to water. Certain ants can swim or survive extended flooding. Fire ants, for example, can link together to form floating rafts when their nests flood. The raft drifts until it reaches higher ground, then the ants disembark and establish a new nest. Some tropical ants are quite capable swimmers, paddling across puddles and streams in search of food. Water, normally a barrier for ants, becomes just another environment to conquer. The world of ants is interwoven with other species in ways both beneficial and sinister, creating relationships that blur the lines between cooperation and exploitation. Ants are partners with many other organisms. Ants form mutualisms with aphids, fungi, plants, and butterflies. We've touched on some of these already, but the web of relationships is even more complex. Ants have evolved alongside these other species, sometimes for millions of years, creating dependencies and benefits that flow in both directions. These relationships shape ecosystems, creating networks of interaction that connect species that would otherwise never interact. The ant-plant relationship can be incredibly specific. Some plants grow hollow thorns and nectar to house ants in exchange for protection. Acacia trees in Central America produce large, hollow thorns that serve as ready-made nest sites. They also produce nectar from glands on their stems and specialized food bodies called Belthian bodies on their leaves. Ants live in the thorns and feed on the nectar and food bodies. In exchange, they attack anything that touches the tree, herbivores, browsing mammals, even competing plants, clearing the ground around the acacia of vegetation. The tree invests resources in feeding and housing the ants, and the ants repay by keeping the tree free of threats. The aphid-ant relationship is similarly tight. Aphids gain protection while ants harvest their honeydew. Without ants, aphids are vulnerable to predators like ladybugs and lacewing larvae. With ants guarding them, aphids can feed safely, reproducing rapidly. Some ant species have become so dependent on aphid honeydew that they can't survive without it. Some ants keep aphids like livestock, moving them to better feeding sites, protecting their eggs through winter, even building shelters over aphid colonies. Some creatures infiltrate ant colonies through deception. Certain spiders mimic ants chemically and visually to infiltrate nests. These spiders are called myrmecomorphs, ant mimics. They've evolved to look like ants, with elongated bodies, constricted waists, and front legs held up to resemble antennae. But visual mimicry isn't enough. They must also smell like ants, so they've evolved to produce chemical compounds that match the colony odor of their hosts. This chemical camouflage allows them to walk among ants undetected, feeding on ant larvae or stealing food. Perhaps the strangest relationship involves fungus that turns ants into puppets. Specialized fungi such as Ophiocordyceps infect ants and manipulate behavior. The fungus enters the ant's body, growing through its tissues, consuming it from the inside. But before killing the ant, the fungus affects its brain, altering its behavior in specific ways. Infected ants climb vegetation and clamp down before dying, creating so-called zombie ants. The ant climbs to a specific height, usually about 25 centimeters above the ground where conditions are optimal for the fungus, then bites into a leaf or twig with a grip so tight it persists after death. The position is deliberate and species-specific. Some fungi drive ants to bite the underside of leaves, others to bite leaf veins. The fungus then kills the ant and grows a fruiting body from its head, releasing spores down onto the forest floor where other ants pass below. It's mind control by a fungus, behavioral manipulation that ensures the parasite's reproduction. The dead ant becomes a spore-spreading tower, positioned by the fungus with remarkable precision. Colonies have evolved defenses against these fungi. Colonies often detect and remove infected individuals. Ants inspect each other regularly, using their antennae to detect chemical cues. An ant infected with fungus smells wrong, and nestmates recognize this. They remove the infected ant from the nest, carrying it far away and dropping it, a form of social immunity. Some species even have dedicated hygienic workers who specialize in corpse removal and sick ant detection. It's quarantine practiced by insects. Many other organisms have found ways to exploit ant colonies. Beetles, mites, and other arthropods live inside nests by mimicking ant chemistry. These myrmecophiles, ant lovers, are a diverse group of species that live nowhere else but in ant nests. Some steal food. Some eat ant eggs or larvae. Some are tolerated because they secrete chemicals that the ants find appealing, essentially bribing their way into the colony. The diversity of species that have adapted to live specifically with ants is astounding, a testament to how ant nests are resource-rich environments worth exploiting if you can get inside. Butterflies have their own special relationship with ants. Many Lycaenidae butterfly larvae are tended by ants for sugary secretions. The caterpillars produce droplets of sweet liquid from specialized glands, and ants tend them like they tend aphids, protecting them from predators in exchange for the sugar. Some butterfly larvae can even produce sounds and pheromones that mimic ant brood, tricking workers into carrying them into the nest where they feed on actual ant larvae. It's a complex interaction with cooperation, deception, and exploitation all tangled together. Even wasps have specialized in exploiting ants. Parasitoid wasps specifically target ants, laying eggs in workers or brood. The wasp larva hatches inside the ant's body and feeds on it from the inside, eventually killing it. Some wasps target specific ant species, having evolved to overcome that species' particular defenses. It's an evolutionary arms race, ants evolving better detection and removal of parasites, wasps evolving better ways to sneak past those defenses. Our relationship with ants is complex, sometimes adversarial, often unnoticed, but always significant in ways we're only beginning to understand. Beneath our feet, ants are constantly engineering the soil. Ants are important soil engineers, aerating soil and cycling nutrients. Every time a colony excavates a tunnel, it creates pathways for air and water to penetrate deeper into the soil. The excavated soil is brought to the surface, mixed, and redistributed. Nutrients from deep in the soil are brought up. Organic matter from the surface is carried down. Over time, ant activity improves soil structure, drainage, and fertility. In many ecosystems, ants rival earthworms in their importance as soil engineers. Ants also participate in plant dispersal. By moving seeds, ants help disperse plants in a process called myrmecochory. Many plant species produce seeds with attached food bodies called elaiosomes. These are rich in fats and proteins, attractive to ants. Workers carry the seeds back to the nest, eat the elaosome, and discard the seed in their waste chambers. The seed is now underground, protected, in nutrient-rich soil, often at some distance from the parent plant. Plants have evolved to rely on ants for dispersal, and ants benefit from the nutritious elaiosomes. It's cooperation through exploitation. Ants can protect plants indirectly. Ant predation on herbivores can indirectly protect plants. Ants on a plant may not be there to protect it, they may be hunting or tending aphids, or just passing through. But their presence means herbivorous insects are at risk. Caterpillars, beetles, and other plant eaters are potential prey for ants. Studies have shown that plants with ant activity often suffer less herbivore damage than plants without ants. The ants aren't altruistic guards, they're just predators. But the effect is the same. The influence of ants extends to entire ecosystems. Some species are considered keystone species due to their ecological influence. A keystone species is one whose impact on the ecosystem is disproportionately large relative to its abundance. Removing a keystone species causes the ecosystem to change dramatically. Some ants fit this definition. Harvester ants, for example, affect seed predation, soil structure, nutrient cycling, and plant distribution across large areas. Remove them, and the ecosystem shifts, sometimes dramatically. But not all ant impacts are beneficial. A few species have become serious invasive pests outside their native ranges. Fire ants and Argentine ants have spread globally through trade and transport. These invasive ants arrive in new environments without their native predators, parasites, and competitors. They thrive, reaching population densities far higher than in their home ranges. They displace native ants and other insects, sometimes causing local extinctions. They alter nutrient cycling, seed dispersal, and plant pollination. A single introduced species can reshape entire ecosystems. Some ants move into our homes. Some ants, including carpenter ants and pharaoh ants, are household pests. Carpenter ants nest in wooden structures, weakening them over time. Pharaoh ants are tiny yellow ants that infest hospitals, hotels, and homes, nesting in wall voids and feeding on almost anything. They're difficult to control because colonies are fragmented across multiple nest sites, and killing workers in one location doesn't affect the others. Fire ants in yards and parks sting humans, sometimes causing severe allergic reactions. Our relationship with these species is entirely antagonistic. Yet we're also fascinated by ants. Ant farms and Formicaria allow humans to observe colony behavior closely. Generations of children have watched ants tunnel through sand between glass panes, seeing the hidden architecture revealed. More sophisticated Formicaria used by researchers and hobbyists can house entire colonies, allowing observation of all aspects of ant life. Watching a colony function, seeing the coordination, the division of labor, the care of brood, is mesmerizing. We see in their society a mirror of our own, patterns of cooperation that resonate with human social behavior. What ants teach us is profound. Their coordination emerges from simple rules followed by individuals. No ant knows the colony's plan. No ant directs traffic or assigns tasks. Each ant follows simple rules based on local information: follow pheromone trails, feed hungry larvae, remove dead ants, attack intruders. From these simple individual behaviors, complex colony-level patterns emerge. It's a lesson in self-organization, in how complexity can arise from simplicity, and how societies can function without central control. These principles apply beyond ants, to other animal societies, to computer networks, to human organizations. And in their totality, ants remind us of nature's scale. Together, these tiny insects shape ecosystems across nearly every corner of the Earth. From tropical rainforests to deserts, from grasslands to your backyard, ants are there, building, foraging, competing, cooperating. They're biomass rivals or exceeds that of all terrestrial vertebrates combined. They're the hidden majority, the tiny masses that move the world. We walk above them, usually unaware, but beneath our feet, an ancient civilization continues its work, as it has for over 100 million years, shaping the world in ways both subtle and profound. As you drift towards sleep, let these images rest in your mind. Millions of colonies across the Earth. Billions of individuals, each following simple rules, together creating something magnificent. Underground cities carved grain by grain. Trails of scent leading to hidden treasures. Queens laying eggs in darkness. Workers caring for larvae, building, foraging, defending. An empire of small things, vast in aggregate, ancient in origin, ongoing in their endless labor. Rest now. The ants continue their work. And in the morning, when you step outside, perhaps you'll notice them, these small architects of the earth, carrying the world on their backs, one grain at a time. Sleep well.